Okay, we should be live. Hello.
Should be.
Yeah. Let's see if anybody comes in. We'll just say hello, everyone.
I think you got to drop comments. I don't know. I think we have to wait for a few minutes and see if anybody comes in and drop the link in the group.
Drop what link?
The link to the live.
Oh, no, we didn't do Zoom. You told me
No, you can drop the link to YouTube link to the video into the group.
Oh, well, I guess I could do that. Okay. There. And then.
I'm glad you could see our technical
know-how. Yeah,
or lack of know-how.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go through all kinds of things to jump through. Oops. I can grab my phone and put it in there. Hi, everyone.
I can do that.
Or wait a minute. I know a different way I could do it.
Hi.
Yes, hello. Let's see. Here. And do copy.
Yay, we're figuring it out.
Yeah, there we go.
We are figuring it out. It's happening.
For the most part.
It is happening.
Yes.
Hi, everybody who's coming in. In our last video, we had mentioned that we would come on live and do a Q&A or, hey, whatever it turns into. We're just going to go with the flow. How about that?
Yeah, we're pretty good about that.
Been pretty much resting all day. It's been a sick day. Tired and so tired. Had a pretty busy couple days and caught up with us today.
Pimp. How are you guys all doing?
Napping.
We
a little bit of napping.
The full moon or the eclipse. What was everybody? Did everybody have an experience with that eclipse? That was an interesting eclipse. And don't forget, you could subscribe or like this channel if you'd like.
Now you sound like a real YouTuber.
I don't know that I'll ever be a real YouTuber.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't know. It's kind of like once you label that, then it's like labeling Twin Flame. You're labeling everything. I guess we could be who they want us to be. Yeah, I'm glad you caught us too, Audrey. Welcome.
Yeah.
And hello, everyone. Let's see here. Gail and
so we are gonna
Jay and
Mama T. Questions. If you guys have any questions, just about anything, do a little talking about connection and getting through hard times, and struggling times, and tribulations, and all those fire bombs and grenades that are thrown at you in relationship.
We did before we need to mention we got some beautiful emails from you, and those of you that did donate, thank you so much. Please keep it coming. We got some beautiful emails today that made us both cry.
Yeah, I think as a matter of fact, we didn't even get through them. Those two.
I was reading them out loud and started crying.
First of all, Elmo couldn't even finish Elmo's message because I tried to read it twice, and I got to the same part both times and abandoned it. Water was leaking from my face,
and he couldn't read the screen.
I couldn't read anyway, so I put it down, and I fully intend to go back to it before we lay down for bed. But just want you to know, Elmo, that touched my heart in a way that I couldn't finish a message. So there.
And even the one we got one from Clinton in Clinton's email. Thank you guys for that.
Yeah. Emails, the encouraging words are so important because you don't realize how important they are until you are struggling and going through something that's seemingly unbearable. And just even to hear a song, sometimes it says, it'll get worse before it gets better, right?
Yeah.
Well, shit, it can't get any worse, and then it does.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, when is the better part? And then it comes. And this is where divorce happens in relationship.
Hi, Barbara.
This is where people can't do it anymore. This is where people fall apart. This is where relationship ends. This is where you get to a level of attacking one another so badly and losing trust in one another because you've lost trust in yourself. But you outwardly attack, you outwardly resent, and inwardly it's really all self towards yourself. But in relationship, people start to argue and fuss and fight, throw things, and the pressure and the stress in relationship you can't handle, or very few can handle the things that Lee and I have even recently. And it's connection that keeps us here.
Yeah. It's like connection is the current and relationship is the restriction. It was a beautiful message came from a dear, beautiful friend of ours, Victoria, and she was talking about how you get swept up and, you want to fight the current, but you got to just go with the flow of the current. Otherwise, you're just going to keep getting stuck. Very powerful way of looking at it. But, we're all these oceans and we all have a steady stream. But when that stream gets disrupted, you don't know where the current's going to take you.
Right.
You just don't know. And the worst part of that is the speculation aspect of it. I mean, I think when you come into this connection, you have that mindset that you know where this is going to go, or you're telling yourself where this is going to go. And then you start silencing yourself at the same time.
Yeah.
And that silencing yourself is when you're going against the current and you start creating more and more different streams that you don't even realize those are the streams you don't want to go down.
Mm-hmm.
Connection, we've talked about connection and relationships so much. I think that we finally start to understand it. You can't have the rules of relationship in a connection.
Right.
You can't. You can try it all day long. You can try to make you really want to force this connection into a relationship without understanding why you're doing that or understanding why it has to be that way. But I would tell you what, if you can just give up the fact that you're telling yourself this needs to be a relationship, just embrace the connection. You'll make yourself so tired.
Mm.
And then all of the relationships around you are going to point to how you've been connected to yourself. You find relationships to meet the needs that you don't meet in a connection. I don't think we're all aware that we're doing that so much because relationship seems to be the status quo. It seems to be what's normal. There's nothing normal about connection. It's just connection.
Right.
I don't know if any of that resonates with any of you all. And let's see, I rant, I'm ignored. I wonder what I'd look like in an orange or worse, a coffin. Ooh, where are you going with that, Mama T? Hi, Felicia. Hi, Noelle. Good to see you, PS. Yeah.
I feel what Mama T's saying. You know what I mean? A rant. You know what I mean? Those rants, some often feel like they're being ignored. Do
you think it's that they're being ignored or people just don't know how to show up for what you need them to? Because you really never clarify when you start ranting. You never clarify what you want the other person to do. So then they start feeling like there's something they're doing that's causing your rant.
Right.
When literally what you want is just to be felt.
Right.
They could listen all day long, but there's a difference between somebody listening to you and somebody feeling you.
Right.
Huge, huge, huge. It's like one of the biggest ahas that we've had in this connection, where you say, you're not listening. And I look at you and go, well, you're not listening, but I can feel you. I mean, we both meet there in that space.
Right.
And it's just so hard to communicate from that space of being felt because we don't communicate it. We don't know how to communicate. I wonder if anybody out there has realized how hard it is to communicate from your feelings only because you were taught to think. It never connected. Those two never ever connected, and it's the worst experience, because you're in your head. Let's see, Carly, I go over in my head about our reunion, and I worry about what it's going to be like letting go and surrendering, going with the flow and trusting in myself.
And that's big.
The going over in your head about reunion is actually rejecting the reunion itself.
Well, it's actually putting the negative aspects on it.
It is. It's putting all of the things
that aren't there.
I guess in this connection, do you want them to think about you, or do you want them to feel you? You have to choose. You cannot have both.
We spend so much time trying to avoid getting hurt in our relationships. We're destroying them in the process. Ourselves.
No. And Kay said, today I got in my head and connection to my feelings. It resolved all the conflict I had about the thought. It's hard to choose what you're feeling over your thinking, because we're just not, you're not programmed to. Say you're feeling one after the other: excited, tired, connected, resolved, sad, indifferent, and warm. I think once you actually are in the feeling, it's when you start labeling the actual experience like that, where you do the excited, tired, connect, you start labeling what you're feeling. You're no longer in that feeling the way you should be. So that's what causes that suffering.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I'm either going to embrace fully what I feel without telling myself what it is, or I'm going to start telling myself the story about what it is and where it came from and who it came from. And then you already have left the conversation. You don't even know that that's a part of a runner phase.
Right.
I have been thinking about my counterpart nonstop and finally let go, because we have been in separation for 2 years and met once. How do you let go of what you don't know? How do you let go of what you don't know? We can all just sit here and sit in that for a minute. Yes, my twin and I are not in an intimate relationship. We know it's not our time currently, but the connection is enough. It gives us both peace, knowing the other is always there. I'm connected to my parents and their caregiver. I also take care of my siblings, one who was sexually abused. I have no me time. I miss twin and pray each day is my last. How is that honoring the connection, Mama T? We are faced with that very question all the time, with what she's going through, with choices and things that are coming at us, and then looking at what it looks like from a family aspect, that dynamic of connection, where you learn it all. I mean, I get it. It's heart-wrenching. But the meantime is when you actually sit in that heart and stop unwrenching it. You got to let it go, because you're just calling into something that you don't necessarily want. Do you want connection or not? Because there's always a path in connection, even when you can't see it. And I think we learned that the other day in ways that we didn't even know existed. I think we had been so isolated.
Yeah, what this person's saying is that feel the out of control, feel powerless. Those are the feelings that they're, or it's the thought process that's out of control. It's the feeling that the thought process brings.
But isn't the thought the illusion of control?
Right.
Yeah.
So it really is all based on assumption that your mind brings into the picture. Right?
No.
We assume it's going to be doomsday. We assume we didn't assume anything the other day. We were flat out told blatantly by multiple people that this deadline is this period dot, and this is what's going to happen. No ifs, ands, or buts. You know what I mean? And here we are, and it didn't happen yet, and Tuesday morning, I'm sure, will be a different story. But the fact that we are still here and accepting and learning.
Do you think one of our hardest lessons to learn is that control or that connection is the power? Our disconnects is what keeps that fear alive. Our disconnects are what keeping us powerless.
Yes.
Is connection the ultimate power of the universe?
Oh.
Is that it? Is that what's actually
what kind of world would we lived in
if
we were all connected? If we all learned how to be connected?
If we all, yeah. It's a pretty powerful result. I believe, we are on a mission to have that, but I don't think we all realize that we're up against so much disconnect. We don't know how to have connection. I don't think we do.
Can you talk about what's beyond the jealousy, or is it always going to be there?
Okay.
No, yeah, we can definitely hit on that.
Do you think it's okay? Let's talk about what jealousy is.
Yeah.
What is jealousy to you?
Fear that I have a very interesting take on jealousy because I used to have that disease. But it to me is based on the fear of loss of power, losing something,
or someone
coming in and taking it. Right? Someone coming in. I have this pretty vase, right? And my friend wants to come in and take my pretty vase.
And you believe your friend deserves it more than you?
Yes. But is that where it really is? Because I learned very hard lessons as a young adult being married to a musician. A lot of life lessons on jealousy and realizing that jealousy, that was in me. The fear that I wasn't good enough to keep you there. Then I realized that if I knew that I was good enough to keep you there, then jealousy wouldn't be a factor because that wouldn't be in you or it couldn't be in you. Does that make sense? Because I felt it couldn't be in me.
Right.
And it was the realization that if this connection is what he's feeling, he can't. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Don't think for a second that there aren't bits and bouts that come in on occasion, and especially, when I'm, my ammonia levels are high and I'm not thinking clearly. But beyond that is and just touching on the jealousy part, beyond that is security. It's peace. I mean, in my experience, it's peace. And and more secure. It's security. That's not something I have to carry on my shoulders, that I have to constantly look over my shoulders and constantly have to worry about. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Would you say jealousy is it's part of the insecure family?
For sure.
So
might be the mommy.
If you have jealousy in this connection, are you jealous because of the relationships they have, or are you jealous because of the connection you don't have with them?
Yes.
And you believe that we always believe that somebody out there is going to come along and take the person we're connected to. But see, that's the issue with connection. There is no such thing. There's only a relationship that actually can give them something more than the connection is currently giving them. Is that right? That kind of happened to us, right?
Yeah.
Like there was a relationship that came along, but there wasn't a connection.
Exactly.
It's like I'm connected over there, but I gotta have this relationship because that connection over there doesn't work.
When we were both seeing other people realizing that. I mean, it's possible that I could live the rest of my life like this and I could be happy for a moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And outwardly can be happy, but inwardly always have that connection with you.
Right.
And that longing to know what you were doing. You know what I mean? Were you okay? And those types of things.
But then when we started talking, I believe what happened there was that the disconnect that was happening inside of us to be together was finding a way to heal itself, because we could feel each other regardless of whether we were together or not. And that's what most people are calling separation, is that disconnect that's internal on both sides, not just one. And it only takes one. Like you were persistent with getting, we're going to be connected whether we talk or not, but why suffer like that? And I wasn't hearing it. I really wasn't. But then there was a part of me that was just like, you should hear this all the way through. And I did. But there's a space there where you actually choose separation because of an internal disconnect, not an outward connection. It's like you don't even see how you're choosing your separate or your disconnect because you call it separation.
You're right.
If we were all more in the habit of saying we're in disconnect at the moment, or I'm in disconnect and they're in disconnect, but my disconnect needs to be fixed. It's not that you need to be fixed. You need to reconnect with what you disconnected from inside, because this isn't going to let you do that. I mean, we look at what we're going through, and then on the inside, there's like this random disconnect that keeps happening, but I'm staying connected to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But that disconnect, it's like the one where you're saying, oh, we're going to lose each other. We're going to lose everything. Everything's going to happen. That's a disconnect. That's an internal thing that your thinking is doing to the feeling, but it's not real. The only thing that's real is what you're feeling. Mm-hmm. And when we're going through this currently, it's like a dark night of the soul in the connection together. And we've been through these before, but this one is like, we feel this one is detrimental to our mission and detrimental.
This one's been the worst dark night of the soul, only because we've gone through it as one together.
Right. Normally, I have no judgments of the dark night, so I love it.
Right. Where the other dark nights that we've been through have been separately, where we have been on through a few together. This one has been the darkest by far.
Man.
And the hardest volcano to climb out of, right? Mm. And it felt like, and oftentimes still feels like, we get halfway back to the opening of the volcano, and sometimes the smoke helps lift us back up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Back up to where we feel like we can get out, right? And then something sucks us back down again, and we have to keep climbing. But the secret is just keep climbing. You know what I mean? Don't give up. Just keep climbing, and rely on one another and stay connected. Right? My grandma used to say, when it came to jealousy, that jealousy wouldn't be present in your marriage. It depended on the type of man you marry. And I never understood that until I got old enough to get married, right? And realized that maybe my grandmother had 1950 thought process, and she did, right? A lot of things, let me tell you. But she would always say things like, it shows the character of the man you marry. What type of man are you going to allow yourself to share your life? What type of man, right? Well, I was like, well, wait a minute. That's an awful lot of pressure on me to find a guy that's not going to cheat on me, right? Mm. And what I realized was that type of guy was in me. I had to find it in me to find you.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
It depended on what kind of person I was, not the kind of person that I married or the kind of person that I chose.
Right.
Because it mattered the kind of person that I was is the kind of person that I chose to be worthy of spending my life with me. Right?
Yeah.
And then realizing that jealousy in the very beginning of a lot of those relationships that I had was the actual downfall of those relationships, or what led to the cheating.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Who are you with? What time are you coming home? Paging. Back in the 90s, we had pagers. Paging. Right. I mean, he played in a band, so it was like you guys got done playing at 10. It's a 45-minute drive. I'm going to give 15 minutes to pack up, 15 minutes to unload, 20 minutes to smoke a cigarette, have a last beer at the bass player's house while you're unloading, 20 minutes to get home. If there's traffic lights, 24.
Wow.
Okay. So you are 1.5 minutes late, and who are you screwing? Right. To the point where I don't want to hear that anymore. I don't even want to go home.
Yeah.
I don't even want to go home because I'm going to get the third degree. And really all I was doing was, I really should have been out screwing. I'm going to get accused of it anyhow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the writing just, and then jealousy turns into major trust issues. And
the trust issues come because you're not telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to open up and say you feel insecure. And that's why when you look at what's really brought our connection closer and what keeps bringing us back over and over again, and what has always brought us back over and over again, is vulnerability. There's a space there where we're not all choosing it, but that space in connection is the only space you're going to have the connection fully. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to do. And it's like you can keep trying to convince yourself that it doesn't take vulnerability. But if you currently in this moment are sitting here watching this and sitting with us, we could tell you the vulnerability keeps showing up with what we're going through. And then there's like a relief space. There's this space of peace. Because at some point you realize, we both realize whatever this we're not alone, but we're not showing how we really feel.
Right.
So the more we show how we really feel, the more we can hold each other. And that's the issue. Like when you get in your head and start saying, well, what if they meet somebody? What if somebody else is there? Oh, they're with somebody. And all of that stuff is just stuff. That's not even connection. If you think you're interacting with them and you give thoughts to everything you're saying to them, you're not being vulnerable. So don't tell yourself you're loving them. You're not even loving yourself if you're not vulnerable. So it's that space where you got to find that peace and understanding that vulnerability is the greatest strength we have. There's nothing weak about it. It's weak when you call it weak. But that's the weak thing that you're doing. You don't want to call vulnerability weakness because that's the last thing it is. It's what you came into this world with in connection. It's the pieces you had. That vulnerability is what brought you into this world. And that vulnerability is what's going to get you loved. And that vulnerability will be there when you leave. I promise you, it's that in-between space that we're all finding a way to be disconnected from. A vulnerable world is a healing one. I don't know any other. It is so clear in this connection with you that everything that is thrown at us, it's the vulnerability that makes and continues to still drive me deeper in love with you. Nothing else. Nothing else. And thank you. We don't know 10 seconds from now it's going to bring. But we know right now, if we're vulnerable, the shit don't matter anyway.
Right.
You know? That's what we were brought into this world with. We screamed and cried and somebody paid attention to us. We still have the ability to do that.
Right.
And it's called vulnerability. I don't know how many of you out there are telling yourself, or you're in your head all the time, but if you're in your head, where's your vulnerability? And how are you being vulnerable to the shit you think? Because if you're already torturing yourself there, don't worry, you're teaching your twin how to do that to you too. And they're doing it to themselves. At some point, one of you has to get grounded in your vulnerability and say, meet me here.
Right.
Meet me here. It's what this connection's here for. It's what, if nothing else, we're vulnerable to anything that's going to happen. And I believe that's what creates the fear. And that's what creates us being thrown off track from what it is we're here to do.
Right.
We have realized that we have to be vulnerable because that's what connection has asked of us to do.
It's brought us to a moment of short-circuited to the point of
That's what it feels like.
You know what I mean? Wait
Yeah.
a minute.
Yeah.
And we've been prodded, you know what I mean? And tased. And we're just sitting here with the aftershocks but everything inside of us is still saying, okay, you got this left, you got this left, you got this left. And we know that the big thing
Hi, Danny.
is inevitable, and that's fine. And you know what I mean? The big thing is inevitable. It's fine. And we've let go of that attachment, and it's fine. The other big thing that is the most immediate thing that's followed is not fine. And that has to be handled immediately. But you know, hey, we're only human, and we can only do what we can do. And but we did lose sight of our faith we don't even know what our faith is in. That's the bad part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's more like it's in our connection than anything. And it was almost as if we needed to believe so much in one another.
Our connection has been tested in faith.
Our connection has been constantly tested in so many ways, which confirms to me that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing to help others who are doing this journey to not have to give up and know how to get through these things, because damn it, we've climbed out of it and just about anything you can think of, I don't think we haven't been exposed to.
Right. Why is it so difficult for men? DM, is that divine masculine?
Yeah.
To be vulnerable. If you're a man and you're not vulnerable, how can you ever be divine?
Men are raised.
Most
men are raised.
Then it's a cultural thing and
to not be
vulnerable.
They're raised to be men and not to cry and suck it up and to be strong and don't show your emotions and be a rock, right? The strong one, right? It seems to me like a family unit is much stronger when everybody is working as a team instead of there being a leader, a patriarch, a matriarch. And I don't like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
That doesn't feel right. It feels like what happens when the patriarch goes? What happens if something happens? You know what I mean? Then that's a lot. You know what I mean? And families crumble and they fall apart. But you know, you have a family unit and a strong support system and a nice circle, family circle. Then you get through things more solid.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I choose to hide my vulnerability till my TF can discuss what our connection is. If we want a connection, he's in fear of rejection, and so am I. So no communication at this time. So let me make sure I ask you this correctly. You're saying you created a wall in which the vulnerability won't come through, and the only way to bring it through is to be vulnerable first, but you're going to put that on him when you know that's the issue. That doesn't make much sense. If you allow your vulnerability, I would tell you, if it weren't for her showing me vulnerability, I didn't know I could be. We meet each other in vulnerability. It's not another person has to go for it. It's not a man or a woman thing. It's a choice as a human to choose to be vulnerable. You're vulnerable anyway. It's the mask you're wearing that isn't. Take the mask off. Connect. It's not even a have to. You gotta want to. If you want this connection, stop telling yourself this is about what he said, she said, they said, these. The issue is we're trying to force a connection into society when the connection was here before society. It doesn't make sense. What makes sense is just be vulnerable. The more you're vulnerable, the more can you have self-love without vulnerability? That's the only way, you're loving yourself is if you're vulnerable. Not vulnerable by yourself. We don't need to hear, well, I give it to myself. You don't even know how isolated that is and how rejecting that is to hear that. If you're somebody who says, oh, I love myself and I don't let anybody really close to me. How is that love?
11-11 here too. 11-11 in New York, 11-11 here too.
Vulnerability. We cannot teach that. You already have that. You have to choose it. You have to look inside yourself and tell yourself, do you want a connection that's filled with feeling, or do you want a connection that is being disconnected from thought? That's it. There's no greater truth than that in this connection. There's not one thing that's going to make sense. Your thinking has never connected you to anyone or anything. So when you're in this connection, if you're sitting around thinking too much, all you're doing is disconnecting. When are you into your feelings? When do you sit with what you feel? And what if you have been vulnerable over and over? See, you got to look at what you're saying there. Vulnerability is an all-time, now, present moment experience. If you're doing it over and over, you keep disconnecting and connecting, connecting and disconnecting. This vulnerability is a here and now experience. It's never an over and over thing. It doesn't know what the past is. If something is telling you did this in the past, you're in your head. The head doesn't know what vulnerability is. The present moment is the only place where vulnerability can be felt and experienced. If you have time is the mind. The mind is going to disrupt you because it told you your vulnerability doesn't matter. Yes, it does. The now doesn't require any thinking. It requires feeling everything, being radiant in your presence, being clear with what you want to be connected to, especially if that connection is to yourself. You will not let anybody connect to you if you're not connected to you first. You will give them your disconnects and then you get mad at them when they show them to you. Let that go. Let it go. It's I get it. Well, Lee and Sherry, you know, that's how. There's no how, there's now. If you need a future moment, that's a process your mind is trying to create for you that's going to keep you disconnected from the same damn thing over and over again. Let it go. Just like you guys showed up for us and said, you guys just be present, just be connected to him. We're doing that. And then we're feeling all of you guys connect to us and you're showing up in all these different ways. And it's because we surrendered and became vulnerable. We have no idea what 10 seconds from now is going to bring. We have no idea if we wake up tomorrow what that's going to bring. We just have decided you're right. We came this far in our journey, sharing our journey, telling you everything we went through. But the telling of the story wasn't what we wanted you to experience. We wanted you to feel the vulnerability of it. This connection requires vulnerability. If you think you can have this connection without vulnerability,
good luck with that.
it just doesn't work like that. We want to really bring that home. And that was the whole purpose of Root Camp, was to connect you back to your vulnerability, because you misplaced it. It doesn't mean you don't have it. You just misplaced it. And I mean, even in 30 minutes, we've seen people just completely break back into their vulnerability, and everything changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We said we weren't going to keep you any longer than 30 minutes, and we've already been 10 minutes over that. So,
yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Hi, Rock. Hi, Allison.
Hi, Allison. Thank you so much for my Mr. Bill doll, by the way, because I use him often.
Yeah.
He makes me happy. It's the little things. Thank you guys so much for just listening.
Keeping us here.
And keeping us here.
Hi. Oh, there's Victoria. We was talking about you, Victoria.
Were we?
Yeah, we're talking about her message about, going with the flow. No, just letting the current take you. Everything's about the current. I think I understand what Sarah's saying about being vulnerable over and over again. Vulnerability is a now experience. It's never over and over. It's either you're in it now or you're not. And that's what's going to get you connected. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. Thank you for believing in us, even when we struggle to do so ourselves.
Believe in ourselves.
We really do struggle. We've struggled with that. We have a receiving love wound that we've been...
We really do.
We've had it for a long time. And now we're in the current of, are you going to finally heal this? And I think that's what this is about.
Mm-hmm. I feel like sometimes we get caught into where we're like, I'm the peaceful warrior. Now you go back to the car and you come back with a better answer.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I pissed you guys off because I'm unable to even see your email anymore.
Oh, no.
We're not mad at anybody.
Never.
No.
Oh, gosh, no.
We don't have that.
You can never make us mad.
No. So, yeah.
We haven't got back to you, though. We're not mad.
I'm feeling the angelic energy radiating from Sherry, too. I've been watching her all day. I've
been asleep a lot today. Have I not been asleep?
Your ammonia level was up today. Your legs have been hurting.
Pretty yellow today when I came downstairs. And I've just been very tired today.
But your mom came to visit.
My mom came to visit
She
today.
barely remembers that. But.
Yeah. I do remember my mom being here, but I was very tired. And so I've been sleeping a lot and trying to rest. And
vulnerability.
Yeah.
Yes, Teresa. Vulnerability.
Yeah. You learn that your health is affected more than you know by worry and stress. I've noticed that since the stressful situations have become more and more and more, my ammonia levels higher and higher, and I'm more and more yellow, and my numbers are going up.
Good.
Than when I'm in a more and more peaceful state and calm and not so stressed, which is, really why I'm looking forward to changes and new beginnings and things, a fresh perspective and fresh beginning,
Yeah. We need your guys' connection to reset whatever this is. And whatever comes from this, I would tell you that we're going to probably have stronger gifts coming out of it because of going through it. We've gone through so many different things at this point. This feels like it's like the last hurrah, but there's never a last hurrah. There's always, oh, you thought that was something. it's like getting hit in the head with a rock that you did see coming.
Well, here.
Yeah.
Oh, does that hurt?
Yeah.
Well,
here's a boulder. That was nothing compared to that big rock you just. But yeah, it's
It feels like that, don't it?
It does. It's like moving out of the way of one rock to get hit by another. It does. Yeah, or you're that Frogger, that game where you're trying to get across the street and the traffic is real bad.
Have you heard the song "Ironic" by Alanis Morissette? That's it. That's it. Right?
All right, guys. Oh, there's Clinton. Clinton, you made us cry so much today.
I'm still mad at you.
Meant to be right
I just said we weren't mad at anybody, but I am mad at Clinton.
Clinton, I tried to read it out loud to her. I got maybe till I got that last part, and I was just crying so hard. She's like, "Just put it down."
It was right after Elmo said it.
It was like back
Elmo
to
said
back.
it, and I couldn't finish it, and then Lee started reading Clinton.
I
was like, "Just shut the
What
lid."
was beautiful about it for me, you guys, is there were two vulnerable men who wrote us these beautiful emails, and they both made us so vulnerable and teared us up so much that we were like, okay, maybe we did what we were meant to do.
We're gonna finish reading them, I promise.
Yeah, we will, and we'll respond.
It was one after the other today. Those two emails, or messages. Elmo sent me a message, and I said, "Did you read Elmo's message?" He said, "No." I was like, he said, "Did you read Clinton's?" I said, "No."
Hope, love,
we thought we were comparing notes, and it was horrible all the way around.
Hope, love, and sunshine. I hear what you're saying about vulnerability is in the here and now, but the moment you put "but" on there, you rejected the statement. Remove the "but." Thinking is doing that to you. You're not doing anything to thinking. Slow it down. Your thoughts are not all that powerful. None of ours are. It's what you feel. It's all in what you feel. It's all in what you're ever going to feel. Your feeling is your vulnerability, not your thoughts about it. You can do this. We believe in you, Hope. You got this.
Be in a place of knowing, not a place of thinking. And that's a big deal because, if you watch the video before last, you'll see that we were at a breaking point. And we were not practicing that in any way, shape, or form. And
we get infected too.
And it came down to, do you believe or not? And I thought, well, I don't even know what I'm believing in at this point, right? Yeah. I got to the point is there even a God? Or is this just a round piece of material that there's water on and some freaking trees? There can't be any nucleus to this bullshit. I mean, really, this is just some shit. And it's got to be just some shit. Just another cult that I found myself locked up in. And I've never been officially in a cult. However,
no. And we're not trying to start it. What we're trying to do is make you. If we can all just do this, you have not been able to turn back a clock 10 seconds or 10 seconds forward. Anything outside of that is the unknown. It's when you are sitting there thinking that you know something, that's when you're calling to it in the universe. It's called the law of attraction. If you tell yourself you can't get being present, don't worry. You're making sure that your thinking is set up and designed and has all the power to make you be stuck.
Allison, they're all symptoms.
But if you can sit where you are watching this and you're listening to us and you're looking at all these messages coming through and you're paying attention to where you're at and what your surroundings are, and you can ask yourself one simple thing: is anybody feeling me right now? Keep saying it. You'll be surprised when people show up in your life. it's literally not about thinking about it. It's about being it. The more you want to capture what being present is, the more unconscious you'll become. And present means consciousness in a really simple form. This glass makes noise. I mean, the way we were all looking at this glass, it's see-through. There's stuff in it. But this is your soul too. You know, you can pour shit out called thinking. You don't need to drink it all the time. It'll make
I think I'm a thinkaholic.
I'm a thinkaholic. Yeah, that should be a next video. Maybe we need to do a video for you guys on thinking.
I'm a
thinkaholic.
I'm a negative thinkaholic.
Connection thinkaholic.
Connection thinkaholic.
Is a connection thinkaholic a real thing? Yes, it is.
Ellison was just saying, I feel it's this is stuff that goes through everybody's head, and I know it does. Just a lot of people don't say it. It goes through everybody's head. Like it does, especially when you get down.
Drunk off thoughts.
And here's the thing: is Lee and I, I'm going to say for 3 years, it's been pretty, not the connection, but our life in general outside of the connection's been pretty up and down, like a roller coaster. And we attribute it to, we were really trying to get this mission up and going and what we were supposed to be doing. And we've been doing this for many, many, many years. And so where was I going with that? I was going someplace with it, but it was important.
You were talking about doing this mission for many, many years. And you said the last 3 years has been up and down.
It's been rough, but you know what? It brings us to, it brought me to a point where I was like, you know what? We have give to the point where we have sacrificed family trips, family outings, romantic trips, date nights, wedding planning, all of these things. I mean, we've sacrificed, just talking to people 2 and 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, and we love it, and we loved doing all of that stuff, and to the point where we were like, you know what? For what?
It's not work for us. It's healing.
And then something slapped me like, are you going to believe or not? Do you believe this long? Believe or not? Whatever it is you believe in. And hell, don't even ask, because I don't know. I know I believe in our connection. And I know that I believe in the power there. I know I believe in my gifts because I feel them and I know them. And I wouldn't expect anybody else to, because they can't feel them or know them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So trying to push my beliefs on anybody would seem fruitless to me, because anybody else can't feel what I'm feeling or know what I'm knowing. You know what I mean?
Until this connection came. And I think, you know what though, baby? The reason we did all that, the reason we gave it all up and really stayed focused with getting and talking to people and helping them find their healing was because when we felt each other and knew that was real, we looked around and realized nobody realizes how real that is.
Right.
And you guys aren't losing your mind. Mm-hmm. It's need real. To lose your mind.
That's it.
We were trying to help people lose their mind so they can have connection, because somebody can feel you.
Yeah.
And you can't mistake it. You'll know it. And once you know it, you feel like you can't tell the people around you because they can't feel you, but you can feel this other person. And we were determined that that's going to be very complex to teach, because a lot of people have been taught not to believe that,
right? Not
to ever believe that. There's nothing here in religion or otherwise that says we can be connected to each other's feelings. There's nothing here.
Yes, Allison, we have seen Soul quite a few times, and we actually prescribe it in Root Camp a lot.
Yeah, we sure do.
Great movie. Maybe we should watch it again.
All right. We did it again.
We will let you guys go. Yeah. We did it again. We almost went an hour.
We love you guys.
We're so sorry for those of you driving and have to keep circling around the block to get to the end of the damn thing.
How can I know what I've been doing in relation? Hope, love, and sunshine. Will you please come talk to us for 30 minutes? We'll get you there. And it doesn't take much. It just takes connection. We can connect to how you feel. in seconds. I think people are realizing that when they do 30 minutes with us now. They're like, what the hell was that? They have no idea what they're walking into.
And then, guys, I'm not going to toot my own horn because I'm sick and I haven't been in session as much. But this man right here, if you're having issues finding yourself or being connected to yourself, or
thank you, Hope.
or you don't know how to get there, or you need to know where to start, this man sitting next to me has not only changed my life, but he can change your life too. And it really will only take one talk.
Mm.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going to give you guys until Friday, but I'm going to do a mini root camp, 4 sessions, 30 minutes apiece for 500. We need to get help, but we want to work for it.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in doing the mini root camp,
we're about a fourth of the way to where we need to be. Is that right?
A fourth of the way there. Thank you guys for doing that, but
yeah,
we'll work for it. We, like I said,
about a fourth of the
and
way.
if you loaned it to us, you'll get it back. We're not. We just need to know where this is taking us, but we need you guys' connection to get there. So wherever it is, please, thank you. And who knows what the next
Keep
10 seconds is going to
manifesting that
bring.
liver too.
Oh, that liver. Sherry needs a liver. Share that on Facebook, please.
Go to your Facebook and go and type in Sherry needs a liver.
Yeah.
And you'll
and
find
if anybody's really good
page.
at Instagram, if you can create that there, that'd be awesome. Because we don't understand Instagram. You guys are doing fantastic on TikTok. Can of Grannies is.
I don't know what we're doing.
I don't know what they're
anything
doing
about it.
But she's still getting up there and making herself smile. And, through all the pain, I stay connected to it, and I can tell when it's genuine, but I can also tell when the pain is there greatly too. So thank you guys for all of the healings you send us to get through this. This is our story. You guys are included. We love you. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Email us.
Yeah, email us. And if you're interested, just put the mini deal. If you've already been through a camp, I don't mind taking you through something deeper for 30 minutes for 4 of them.
All of the
just know that I'm going to give you some work you ain't never seen before.
Information is below.
Not work. I say healing. Because whatever this is bringing out healing from the pain from it.
We have a summit coming up next month. We're speaking in
One Love Humanity.
One Love Humanity. Find that in our group.
I believe it's also in the community here.
Yeah,
it's free. And it's like 70 different.
Thank you, Danny.
I
love you too.
And there's 70 different.
Barbara's here.
Yeah, Barbara's there.
I got to come back. Oh, so is Brooke. I got to come back. Andy Church is here. See, I can't even see.
Yeah, Danny's here. Victoria.
I can't see.
Thank you, Victoria. Victoria Jennings. School. We need some of your information so we can get it out there. We love you guys.
Yes.
We got to go.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys soon.
We'll pop in tomorrow, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, depends on what we're going through at that moment. Oh, Kelly Lee's there too. Hi, Kelly.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Look at you.
Gosh,
you Australia people are up this time, yeah. Come to LA.
Oh, don't make
you got a place for us to live.
I wish I could. I'd already be there if I wasn't waiting on a call for a liver.
True.
I would already be in LA.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm coming back to LA. I loved it there.
All right.
Redondo Beach was nice.
Yeah, twin flame goodbyes. There's never a goodbye with twin flames. We're going to connect to you and keep connected to you and just stay connected to us.
Where did we stay at when we went to Venice? Barbara, do you remember where we stayed at? Where did we stay?
I don't remember.
When we went to
Kelly was there.
I know.
I don't remember.
Did we stay? Kelly was there. Did we stay in like Redondo Beach or something?
Oh, you did write us back? Well, we need to check on that. We're sorry.
Okay.
You're welcome, Carly. Please come book one. We got you. You don't need to do it when you come together. Do it before then.
Yeah,
do something for yourself. Don't do it because you two are together. Do it for you to be together so you can be together. Yes, Redondo. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. It was so cool.
That's
when my granddaughter was born. My granddaughter Leia was born. I had to fly
went
back
to Vegas first. Yeah.
And I just had another granddaughter born 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. We're up to 7 now,
daughter,
Kelly.
Kia had a baby.
Yeah.
And
her name is Reese.
Her name
is
Reese.
Beautiful.
She's so cute. That's 7 grandkids.
7 or 6?
How many did 7?
What am I missing?
Yeah, I flew back. Lee drove you guys to LA.
Yeah. Oh, that is 7. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I flew back from Vegas to. I think I went to.
And Christian came back.
Christian
came back about a year later, and now he's got 2.
Christian's got 2 boys.
He's got 2 boys. Kelly, he's got 2 boys.
Chosen and Champion.
Yeah, we'll send you some pictures. All right. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you for being a part of our connection. Thank you for really, really getting where we're coming from. And we get where you're coming from too.
Coming from?
I don't know.
I just noticed that there was a light in my.
It's like, yeah, you're like angelic.
Don't ask my best friend. She'll say I am the light and a blessing.
We love you guys. Wow. See you soon.